All right. Yeah. Can't wait till I can really say, hey, we're on air. All right. So now, this is Adam and Edom. All right. So going with the flow, letting the Holy Spirit take control. Um, yeah, so let's just jump right into this. How will we start this off? Recently, you know, studying Adam and Edom, and I noticed that their name is the same. Right. Then from studying that the name was the same, a streamline of information just channeling it. Like it says in Psalms 1, blessed is the man that walks not of the counsel of the ungodly, nor stand in the way of the sinners, nor sit in the seat of the scornful. And then we're going to skip to it says that it should be like a tree planted by the rivers of water. When he meditates day and night, he should be like a tree planted by the rivers of water. So that one of them rivers just came, and then another stream came in, and another currency of data from heaven pertaining to the situation just started flooding in. The name is the same. Then they had the same complexion. Then they had the same situation. And whoa, what? And then I'm like, and then I'm going into my subconscious bank of my memory. I'm going into the memory bank because I'm thorough when it comes to the word. So I'm recollecting. I'm going into that database like, you know what? I do see a parallel between this situation. Boom. So let's jump right there. Let's get into that. So we're going to start off. Which way we're going to go this time? We're going to go to the right. All right. And some would say that's the right. Some would say it's the left. Right, left. Let's call it the right, left. Right. You caught that. You caught that. So, now dealing with Jacob and Esau, we're going to go into Genesis for people who may not be aware of, the scripture text. Genesis, you can start at chapter 29, 32, however you want to, get there. All right, so Jacob and Esau are twins. Now, let's start off with the birth process. When they were being conceived, right, their mom, Rebecca, yeah, their mom struggled to give birth to them, right? Jacob was trying to pull his brother's leg out. Esau, was supposed to be the firstborn, but Jacob tried to stop it from coming out because he wanted to be first. That was just like wow, so much of a wild moment. God made sure that they recorded that kept on record through the years, right? You're gonna see much why they called him Jacob for that reason, the conniver. That's what Yakub means, right? And then Esau, remember, Esau was called Edom because he was red and hairy, right? Adam name means red man too. It's really one and the same. The only difference between the name is the vowels. And in Hebrew, the consonants and the vowels are separated, right? So essentially their name is the same, right? That's how Hebrew works. It is the vowels that make it's the consonants that really governs the word, the root meaning of the word, and the vowels just give the variations in the context of how the word could be used. Masculine, nouns, adjectives, the various different expressions. That's how the system is a real fantastic system. Anyways, so we're gonna get straight into it. Boom. So let's fast forward from the conception. I digress from that. Let's fast forward from the conception, move later on to the years. We're going to go into the hunting situation, as it does skip through so many portions of the years in the Genesis book. Check out the book of Jasher, which is not in the actual Bible, if you want some more details. And then look at Josephus too, as well. I digress again. So we're going to go to the scene where Esau pops up and he's hungry. Boom. He comes from hunting. Remember, Esau was a hunter. All right? Pause right there. Now, Esau was his father's favorite, Isaac. Isaac was the father of Jacob, the three patriarchs: Abraham, granddad; Isaac, father; Jacob, son. Right? You see that patriarchal system? That's what the GFS is. That's the GFS symbol. Whoa, did I? Yeah. So boom. So now, oh yeah, gotta let you know you're gonna hear noise in the way. It's how it rolls. So now Yakub is at the kitchen cooking food, right? And Esau comes in hungry, starving, right? And he's like, "Hey, brother, fix me some food." Jacob is like, "Hey, you want some food? You gotta give me your birthright." Now let's pause right there. As you can see, bring it into the narratives where his brother was struggling to get out first. The birthright goes to the firstborn. Thus, technically, although Jacob fought for that position, it was by rights given to Esau. So subconsciously, Jacob wanted what was Esau from the jump, right? So we're gonna give Esau the benefit of the doubt. Let's just say Esau wasn't really even thinking about what he was saying. Because remember in the text it says he said, "Yeah, sure. What is this? What is the birthright to me?" He said, "What is the birthright to me? I'll give you the birthright. Just make me some. You just make me some food." So I'm like, "Oh, okay." So my thing is that he probably was like, What is? All right, man. Just make me some food, whatever, right?" But Jacob, in his heart, he was dead serious. So when he told him yes, he really took that as an oath and as an agreement. You owe me your birthright. So he made him that bowl of soup. Boom. Now let's fast forward. Days go on. One day Esau's not there. Dad's upstairs. My dad's old blind as right now, and the mom makes Jacob aware that this is the day that your father will be blessing Esau. So what she does is she orchestrates a whole situation where she can get him to get Esau's birthright. She tells him, "Go put on his sweater. I'm gonna give you the sweater, so he'll know." Because Jacob was worried about how, my brother's hairy. How am I going? Here, I get his jacket. Don't worry about it. And I'm gonna make the food that Esau normally makes with his father. Because remember, Jacob was his mother's favorite, the conniver, and the hunter was his father's favorite. Boom, right? And the youngest was the mom's favorite, and you can see all those details and how everything's parallel, right? So he goes upstairs, and he tells his dad, "Hey, da da da," takes the birthright. Boom. So at this point, I'm quite sure once that transaction happened, they got out of there. Mom probably went out in town. Jacob probably got out of there, happy, dancing and singing, that he gonna get this birthright, and woody woody wop. Because it was big back then. It was not like, "Hey, I'm getting dad's car." I'm getting the whole entire empire. As you can see, what came up of Jacob. You know what I'm saying? That's how grand the situation was. And Esau pulls up wailing in tears, like, "Hey, dad, da 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 da, woody 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 woody." Boom. So now let's go to the garden. Let's hit to the garden. We're going to go to Genesis chapter 2. Then we're going to bounce to chapter 3. All right. Now, remember in chapter 2, it says, "Now God made man to till it, out of the ground, all the water, out the clay, blew the breath of life in him. Man became a living soul. Boom, bang, bang. Named him Adam because, he was of the clay. Clay was red, red man. Boom, just like Edom. All right. He told Adam, "You are to till the land and you are to keep it." Now, if you look at the Hebrew words for that they translated as to till, it does not do justice to what it says in Hebrew, and nor does keep it. Till the land is translated from the Hebrew word which means abad. The word abad could have been translated as to be worked on, to work, to become, and to manifest. All right. And the word to keep was from the Hebrew word shamar, which means to. The primary definitions I'm gonna point out is to guard, to observe, and to reserve. Right? Oh, my bad. Preserve. So that seems totally different to what they put in English, right? People can argue it's mistranslation. Someone says distortion. What I'm telling you, what you need to do you need to read it in its original language. You got technology, as you have to because you're using this, you're seeing this. You need to go and download an app, a desktop app called Eastward. It allows you to see the Old Testament in the Hebrew and allows you to see many of the words in the New Testament in Greek. And then you can see what they translated as, right? And in the ancient times, and even in some of these Jewish communities now, they study the Hebrew text from all of these definitions to find out in what is the proper context so that they know which definition fit. Or like me, all these definitions fit just in what order so that I can get the full scope of what is being conveyed here. So if we run with that principle that I'm exposing you to, then what you would notice is this, that God was telling Adam, when you're in this garden, I need you to guard this garden with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your strength. That's what I need you to do. I need you to be in observation. That's why before he left, he brought every creation to him to see what he would name it. He had to go through an observation process, right? Boom. From this observation, you will become what you are through your work. As you're working, you're becoming. Through your observation, you will be manifesting. You're made in God's image and likeness. Everything was made by God, thus everything's a fragment of God. It reflects God, and you're a reflection of me. So everything around you is a reflection of you. That's why I brought everything to you, not to see, because the word that they translate to see comes from ra'ah, which also means to enjoy, to perceive, to learn. God already knew. So he was just beta testing. This creation was made in my image and likeness. I know what all this is to me. I want to make sure that I made this creation perfect. I'm just proving that my creation was made perfectly in my image by witnessing what he called it, because it's a reflection of me. That's what was happening in the garden. He was to keep on this journey until he continued to manifest like a flower in a tree. Just because you come out of the ground, that doesn't mean that you're fully blossomed. It takes time and stages and phases. So God made sure he was rooted. He had to stay grounded. He had to keep guard. Boom. Let us head into chapter 3 now. We get into chapter 3, Garden of Eden. Now, y'all like, all right, cool. Let's get back to how this connects with Adam and Eve. Some of y'all might have caught it by now. Some of y'all might not. So I'm going to lay down the suspense. Boom. So we get into the Garden of Eden. Serpent at the tree. Notice when we go back to the later chapters of Genesis, there was 4 characters, but the primary 3 was Jacob, Esau, and their mom. 2 males and a woman. The male was the woman was the catalyst to Jacob getting Esau's birthright. Pretty much tricking him out of his birthright. It's the very same thing happened in the garden. The serpent was the catalyst that was used to orchestrate Eve to manipulate Adam to bite the fruit. Right? It's the same thing. Then later on, the Father comes on the scene, Father God, in the Adam and Eve scenario, and then Isaac comes on the scene later on, after the whole plot and twist. You see what I'm saying? It was both about selling a birthright, but those details, the part of the birthright is really people don't see about in the Garden of Eden. They don't really see those details in the Garden of Eden, but you see everything that I just paralleled in this situation. So much to the extent I'm gonna go a little bit further and show you some more connections about what took place. All right. So you notice that it was the woman that was used in the garden to trick the man. His mom set the whole thing up with Jacob to trick him. Jacob name means conniver. The serpent had the traits of a conniver. Esau was the one that was Esau, who name is Edom, the same as Adam. Adam and Edom both were tricked out of their birthright. The birthright of Adam was the planet Earth, to be the governor over the whole earth. Esau was over a portion of the land in the earth, right? Adam picked up the flaws, the curses of Edom picked up the curses of Adam. Jacob picked up the curses of the serpent. You see that? You see those parallels and those connections there? Boom. So then the father, notice we're going to even go deeper here. The father of Jacob and Esau was blind at the time. If you look in the text, he was blind. He could not see them. That's why the mom told him to put a jacket on and bring him soup. That's how he was able to trick him, because he couldn't see. So if he touched his skin, he would believe that it was his son. So that's how the story goes, right? And then if you notice, if now let's go back to Genesis, when in the cool of the day, right? What does it say? It says, in the cool of the day, God showed up, and thus Yahweh says, Adam, where are you? As if he was blind, as if he couldn't see him. To be more precise, he says, Adam, where are you? As if he couldn't see him. And when Jacob enters into the room, Isaac says, who is this? Because he could not see him. And he says, it is me, Esau. He lies to his father. And then the difference is Adam starts off telling the truth, and then he gets dishonest when he blames the woman. Oh, the woman you gave me, you had free will. She was deceived, you wasn't. You knew better. Oh, we're hiding. I'm naked. You know what I'm saying? So, man, it gets deep. It gets deep. And one was like, okay, wow, this is great, right? I'm quite sure people are like, this is just amazing. This is just fresh off the press, fresh off the bakery, right? People eating, right? But you want to know what's the real substance behind this? The generational curses. You have to understand the curses and the root of them in order to break them. A lot of people reading these texts and Cain and Abel and Jacob and Esau, but they're not seeing the connection. They're not even really understanding the root and how everything is connected. See, when you fully understand your past, you see the pros, you see the cons, the stuff that you need to bring into the present to prepare for a better future, and the stuff that you need to be aware of, the cons, the stuff you need to be aware of the past, so that you can create a prevention plan so that they won't manifest and unfold in your present and destroy your future. I need to break some cords. I need to break some chains. I need to be unyoked from some cables. I need to get out of this entanglement. What is going on with my DNA? You gotta know the word. Study to show yourself approved. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. For lack of knowledge. Simply for lack of knowledge. They don't know who they are. They're brought down and fallen. It's time for them to arise and stand up rightly. I digress. Now let's point out another point. Shift the degree a little bit, but it's still the same focus. All right. Now, a lot of people talk about Romans, the book of Romans. I think this is about